Welcome back to another video with Atomic Token Games. My name is Jake Steppen, and today we're doing a review of Knarr. Knarr, Vikings are attacking. That's the theme of the game. So in the game of Knarr, you act kind of as a Viking captain, a Skarl, I think they're called, I guess. But the whole point of Knarr is it's a card game where you're trying to collect sets of Vikings in order to go exploring and earn victory points and be the most successful Viking plunderer, I guess. So the way the game works, on your turn, you'll either add Vikings into your collection or your crew, or you'll go exploring with those Vikings and earn yourself points. So there's a bunch of different Viking cards, beautifully colored. Each Viking card will have a Viking on it, and the Vikings will have different abilities on them, or different icons on them. And when you play a Viking down into your play area, you get to activate and gain the icon that's on each of the Vikings of that color. So if I were to play a green Viking into my play area that had a ring symbol, I would get to get one of the little silver rings and add it to my collection. And if it had a victory point, I would get a victory point. If you have 6 green Vikings and I play another one, I get to get all the different things from the Viking. So you can get a whole bunch of resources and victory points just from playing Vikings. You're going to have all these collections. Once you have enough, though, you'll want to go exploring. So when you go exploring, you'll take the Vikings in your crew. And if you match the conditions on the Explorer card, then you'll be able to complete it and gain bonuses and victory points, which is obviously the most important thing. There's a lot of little nuances. They have these little Viking helmet tokens that can act as substitutions for your Viking. So if you want to go exploring and maybe it's a high level card and you don't have 2 yellows, you only have 1, you can use this as a substitute. You're also able to, after you go exploring, each of the cards have icons on them that you can activate. And as you collect these silver bracelets, which aren't actually silver, but it says they're silver, you'll be able to gain the rewards listed on those exploration things. So this whole game, the whole point, you're trying to collect Vikings. And maybe that's your whole point, right? You just want to collect lots of Vikings and earn all of the resources and rewards that are on the Viking cards as you add them into your collection. And then you'll go exploring and kind of cash in on those Vikings to gain some rewards. And overall, for me, for this game, there's a lot of positives. This is a very fun game. That's probably the first thing. This is a fun card game. It's quick. It's easy. It's easy to explain. I taught my brother and his wife how to play in like less than 5 minutes, because you either play a Viking and get the rewards or you go exploring and kind of cash in. So there's not a whole lot of different rules. Now, that being said, there is still a lot of strategy, right? I've already mentioned you can use the Vikings, and if I can stack up 6 green Vikings and just keep playing them, I can get tons of rewards. But if I go exploring, I have to discard those ones that I've collected, and so it's kind of a trade-off of when do I do that. And one of the things they actually have built into this game that I really like, that's a positive for me, is just that you can also go for a reputation, right? So being a good Viking. And if you do that, then you'll earn victory points at the start of each of your turns. So there's kind of this built-in hurry mechanic. First 1 to 40 victory points wins. So if you can be earning passive victory points each turn, it's a huge bonus. Another thing I really like about this game that's a positive for me is just the theme and the art, right? It's very fun. The cards are very vibrant. All the different colors. The theme of Vikings, right, is fun, that you're trying to build up this crew of Vikings and go raid some villages or whatever and go exploring and bring back some goods, and that's how you win, right? It's very thematic, very fun. Just a fun little card game that you have, right? That you're going to be using these cards to build up your crew and then cash in for points. Now, a neutral point for me in this game, which I already mentioned kind of as a positive, right? This is a fast-paced game. I've played with two players, we finished in as fast as 15 minutes. So it's a quick game. You can play a lot of it. Um, that being said, because it's so quick, sometimes you don't fully get to build into and cash in on your strategy, right? You're like, man, I'm going to collect all these Vikings and do all these things, or I'm going to go exploring all these times and really build up. It's kind of an engine building game where you're going to play down these things and take bigger and better actions, right? Uh, because it's a fast paced game, because you can have passive victory points, uh, not you don't always get to really fulfill your itch of like, ooh, I want, if I have just two more, I'll have the ultimate one or whatever, right? It does go pretty quick. So sometimes you kind of miss out on that fulfillment of really playing some of the coolest turns you can, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? This game, I really appreciate it for what it does, right? Of being a quick, fun card game that still has lots of strategy, even though you don't always get to cash in. You do get to do it sometimes. There are some crazy cool turns where you've had, I have 6 blue Vikings. I'm gonna play another one and get 6 different things or whatever, right? So there are some really incredible turns. Those are real positives. It's a fun game, right? You have fun trying to build up. But it's just every once in a while you're like, oh man, if only I had, 3 more turns or whatever. So that is there. And now for me, the only negative of this game, the only thing that I don't love is just the player boards and your player colors are not very different. The colors you have to choose from are black, white, brown, and beige. And the player boards themselves have these little Viking ships, and the sails on them are different colors. But even those, it's kind of hard. You kind of have to squint to see the difference. Uh, and so for me, that was the only negative of it. At the start of every game, you got to be like, wait, okay, am I brown or beige? And which one is that? And then anyway, so it's a little bit interesting that was our color choices. I'm sure it's probably more accurate or something. But that was my only real uh, issue with the game, is that the player tokens and player boards are all the same colors, even though the Vikings are vibrant and colorful. The player boards themselves aren't, and so that for me was a little annoying at the start of some of the games. Now overall, I love this game. Like I said, it's a fast-paced game. You can pull it out, play it real quick. It's real simple, but it has some strategy, right? You're really like, ooh, do I play this guy or do I go for that guy? And then there's a whole bunch of nuances there of how you're going to collect more Vikings and play them down. And so overall for me, I would give this game a 7 out of 10. That I think it's definitely worth playing, definitely worth your time. It's great to have in the collection. It's a nice small box. You can pull it out, play it with whoever. But even advanced gamers can enjoy it, right? I enjoy playing this game a lot. We've already played it half a dozen times in a week. Um, so it's a fun one. There's a lot going on. It's very pretty, very well made. It has lots of replayability. Um, so overall, I think this game worth getting. And that's it for the review. So if you've made it this far in the video, make sure you hit that like button if you haven't yet, and subscribe down below. I appreciate it very much. You're very helpful to the channel. And stay tuned for our next one.